Thanks, Paul. In the words of the famous writer William Faulkner, never be afraid to raise your voice in honesty, truth and compassion against injustice. If people all over the world would do this, it would change the earth. Good morning, my name is Jewell Drury and I'm an advocate for men and their families. I've personally been impacted by suicide. My mum and I found my 32-year-old uncle in his car one morning after taking his life. John Dominey, or JD as he was known, was well known in the Illawarra region for playing first grade rugby league. After a series of blows in his personal life, John reached a level of desperation and took his life. He did not have mental illness, but rather he had situational problems that in time would have passed if he had been able to see past his pain and heartache and receive help. Our family will never recover from the loss of such a beautiful young man. As a mother of 8 children, 5 sons and my 3 daughters, and a grandmother of 6 and a foster carer, I understand the importance of family relationships and the dangers of heartache and broken attachments between parents and their children. On a national level, since early 2015, I've spent my time at the coalface supporting men and their extended families who have been journeying through Australia's broken adversarial family law court system, which continues to tear families apart, denying our children their intrinsic human right to have a relationship with both parents. In 2019, I was a New South Wales Senate candidate for a political party, and during this time I came to understand the depth of this war on men, which reveals itself in so many levels. The current domestic violence laws, coercive control laws, The current domestic violence laws, coercive control laws and consent laws are all gendered laws, built around the false narrative of only men being the perpetrators of violence. The truth is that perpetrators of violence is not a gendered issue and should never have been seen as such. I have been an eyewitness to the injustice and bias toward men not only through the family law court, but also through the government-funded support services that support it. It is a common theme to use false allegations of domestic violence in the family court against fathers in order to gain an advantage or an upper hand. With an average court case continuing for anything up to 3 or more years, these fathers often reach a point of absolute despair at the loss of time and the loss of their relationship with their children. As the false allegations of a vindictive former partner continues, men increasingly take their lives as they lose hope of ever having the relationship with their children restored. In 2018, I came into contact with a man named Carl, who was a distraught father, battling through continual false allegations in the family court over many years. Carl became increasingly disillusioned by the family court system. In 2020, Carl sadly took his life after experiencing a total of 9 years of child access restrictions that were accompanied by years of emotional and psychological abuse and domestic violence at the hands of both mothers of his 2 children. Just prior to his suicidal death, Carl had been involved in court matters where he had been seeking regular contact with his child. It was the day before his death that Carl had received more abusive messages from the mother of his daughter, who was threatening that he would never see his daughter again. Carl's children will never know the pain and suffering he was forced to endure as he worked hard to be part of their lives and to be their father. This is another family failed by domestic violence laws and a family law system that has demonised fathers because of their gender, while ignoring the abuse and violence perpetrated by mothers. Sadly, I could share more stories like Carl's. There have been far too many. I carry the memories of their faces and voices with me as I continue to do what I can to help each one on a personal level. I have journeyed through the family law court before the family law inquiry recommendations, and I have journeyed through the same court once the recommendations were put into place. and I can assure you things have become worse. The impact the adversarial family court is having on the men of Australia is without doubt adding to the high number of suicides we are seeing on a daily basis. Family separation, withholding children from their fathers, the family law court process and false allegations through domestic violence laws are all contributing factors of the high number of male suicides in our nation. 7 men a day, 49 a week, die by suicide, and there are still no gendered support organisations for men, and to this date Australia does not even have a minister for men. The voices of our boys and men cry out from the ground and echo throughout eternity. Who will take up their plight to stop others from following in their shoes? This year we implore our government leaders to not wash their hands and turn the other way. We ask for a minister for men with a goal to put our men and their needs first, dismantle the current adversarial family court and take a non-gendered approach to laws as we together stand to disarm those who continue to wage war on the men of Australia. I believe it is time to have a Minister for Men to assist in a nationwide campaign to encourage, to build up, to empower and to support our boys and men, for they are the heroes of our nation. On a final note, and on the back of wings, we fight. Let's give these 2,500 shoes a voice. Thank you.